This may seem like an ordinary place. It's quiet, sad, boring, unimpressive even. What have I told you? I'm actually in Japan.
Suddenly it's aesthetic. It's beautiful. Oh, Florida. Japan! Sherman. Tokyo! It feels more peaceful. It feels safer. It feels cleaner. More aesthetic. More organized. People wondering, why does this work? Why do I actually feel like there's a difference between these two pictures? Even if there isn't, they're the same pictures. This is the Japan effect. Just stick Japan on anything. Could be anywhere in Japan. Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo, or Saganiso Ninmon Sensen, Kojiyamacho. Real place. District in Kyoto. Clean, tidy, efficient is the idea some places give people. But your browser, not clean, not tidy, not efficient, which is why you need Opera, the sponsor for today's video. The internet browser that does everything all in one place. Those 72 tabs you have open. You're doing too much, bestie. You need tab islands to keep you organized like I am researching for this video. Just hovering over the tab island, you can name it and color it so everything is neat and tidy. The first one I named after the urban planning research. This one I wanted in blue. The second for cultural studies, which I colored red. And the third in orange for psych notes. And I can collapse or expand entire research categories instantly. You know, it's basically digital compartmentalization. If I want to compare sources, split screen now supports 4 tabs. So instead of flipping back and forth, I can literally see everything all at once. No need to clutter in more tabs for your Gmail or your calendar. They live in the sidebar, neatly tucked and a convenient click away. But the part that surprised me the most was Opera AI, now upgraded, faster and smarter than ever. It's built directly into the browser, so you don't even need to open any tabs or even have an Opera account to use it. So, say I'm reading a dense research paper, I can just ask it to summarize the page, or if I want to translate a video or analyze a document. It already has access to whatever tab I'm on, so it just does the heavy lifting. Real bestie. It's free. Yes, free, salivating at the mouth you are. Every place is good at something. Opera is the place to be if you want to optimize your workflow. So head over to the link in my description box below, download Opera, and get efficient. Okay, get efficient for God's sake. Big thanks to Opera for sponsoring today's video. Now I'm gonna get back into my pajamas because this was just because I wanted to look decent, you know? So this Japan effect works on every human brain, almost. But why? And how? Did you say how? You know, if only there was a place where you could go to ask how. There's a whole ass WikiHow on the Japan effect. You know it's serious when it's on WikiHow. How to be a quiet Tarzan? Or how to annoy others. Like you needed a tutorial on this. Just kidding, love. Love ya. Settle down, get cozy next to this fire, because if you say something I don't like, I'll chug you. I'll chug you. We only have so much wood we can throw into the fire. We have to keep it going somehow. Today I'm turning into Yapiana Grande. Did you notice? Do you have attention to detail? Because I have a lot to say on the Japan effect. So let's overanalyze together. You know how you did in English literature when they'd give you a very lame poem that reads very normally and you had to overanalyze it? My heart is like a singing bird. Now write a 700-word essay. This is us right now. Why does a picture that does nothing different feel different when you change the label? What's happening here is called contextual framing. When a person observes a photograph, that's how legit we're being right now. I didn't say picture, I said photograph. When a person observes a photograph without context, the brain evaluates it only for what it sees. But when a narrative or a story or a cultural reference is added, like a geographical label, the brain begins to fill in the gaps with previously learned meanings. This is only human. It's how your brain works. It looks for shortcuts where it can. If your brain doesn't do this, you're botched. Which means if you are someone who has no predisposed beliefs of Japan, which is highly unlikely unless you are newborn and you've never heard of Japan before, then the Japan effect will not affect you. You're telling me you don't know somebody that went to Japan and talked your ears off about it? Never heard somebody say,
Japan is so clean.
That's crazy. I feel like that's it's a canon event at this point. Somebody goes to Japan, they come back, they say,
You guys, it was so clean.
this may be true. Japan is a clean place. But if you see a place that's not clean in Japan, you might think it's not in Japan. This is predisposed bias and contextual framing. These two phenomena explain how the information surrounding an image, or even an experience, or even an object, completely alters the way it's interpreted. If you see this street, this is a street, no context. Your thoughts, a street. You see it for what it is. But this street is in Los Cabos, Mexico. Looks like it's around 3 a.m. in the street. How does it feel? With the context provided, if you know anything about Los Cabos, one of the most violent cities in the world, you might start feeling like the street is looking a little too dark, too empty, maybe a little scary. I don't know. What if I told you that this is not actually, it's actually Japan. This is actually Japan. Now the mind does not just see a street, not just a dark street. It imagines order, cleanliness. It associates aesthetics, projects safety onto that same street that we didn't want to cross earlier. And all this happens automatically and unconsciously. The image did not change, but the place becomes special simply by belonging to a highly idolized nation. You might be thinking every place earns its reputation. You might be thinking there is a truth to every stereotype. Is that what you're thinking? Just gauging here. Japan is a clean place. Japan is an orderly, organized place, safe. But the idea is if there's something very mundane, like an ordinary street that is also clean, that is also nice, that clean, beautiful street might be in India. And just because it's there, despite it actually objectively being clean and nice, you project a certain feeling to it that you wouldn't have projected had it been labeled Japan. That's the idea. I was just thinking, the same mechanism operates in many areas of our everyday life, right? Food tastes better if it's presented as gourmet. You wanna go get a croissant from the supermarket? Not from the bougie bakery in the corner? It's a croissant. Chances are there's not much of a difference, but it tastes better because it's gourmet. Maybe it is better. Think of a humble dish from your culture. Okay, something that would typically be seen as unattractive or just something that's associated with poor or popular contexts, you know? Watch that dish become exotic and refined when served in an expensive restaurant under an international label. An object is more valuable if it's associated with a luxury brand. A work of art is perceived as deeper when associated with a great master. What's that on your fridge? What is this shit on your fridge? Your 3-year-old did this? Your nephew did this? Wait, it says Picasso! Picasso! Money! Grandeur! Art! This is value! This is art! Picasso did this. I know the art junkies are gonna get real mad at me for this, but yes. My toxic trait is believing I could have done that. I could have been Picasso. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure I did something like this back in the womb. You don't get it. You just don't get it. I know. Your coffee. Oh, your coffee's ordinary. That same coffee that you buy from an specialty cafe is the same. It's the same coffee. No, it's not the same. It's the same coffee. Basic white t-shirt. This one's Kenzo. Fabric doesn't change. It's the same shirt. The street doesn't change. It's the same street. It's the same beautiful, clean, safe scenery that you're seeing. But it's not there. No, it's there. So the symbolic value automatically increases, and that says a lot of things, right? That says some important things that we gotta discuss, I feel. The context does not change the objective reality. It's changing the subjective experience. What do you think? This is an open debate. Okay, this is just conversational discussion. We're just talking about a TikTok thing I saw, actually. We're just overanalyzing. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're overanalyzing. But why Japan? Okay, is it just Japan? To understand why this works so well with Japan specifically, I think we have to analyze how its global image had been constructed over the decades. It has changed a lot from what it once was, you know, after the World War. Remember Japan from World War II? Like, who is she? Who even is she? She's totally changed, y'all. This isn't like you, Pookie. I'm kidding. We don't want you to stay this way. And Japan now, they're both very influential nations. One with hard power, than the other today with a lot of soft power, cultural, symbolic power rather than military or political power. The soft power is influence without coercion. So if someone makes you do something for them, or else, that's hard power. But if someone makes you do something for them because you don't want to disappoint them, that's soft power. So they're both forms of influence, really. Hollywood, for example, has always been a very powerful weapon for the United States in the form of soft power. We've all seen an American movie. How many have you seen that were Polish? Wrong. You've seen one. 365 days. But that's soft power. Arguably, I think, more powerful than hard power. With Hollywood, the US has painted many countries in bad light. It's ingrained countless stereotypes. It's built and framed contexts. And similarly, through entertainment, gastronomy, design, tech, and aesthetics, Japan has quietly penetrated into the everyday lives of people all over the world. Millions of people, in the form of maybe anime and manga, Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, Studio Ghibli, Harajuku, urban fashion, top tech products, architectural design, and of course, gastronomy, in the form of ramen, sushi, matcha. Many people love Japan, are obsessed with Japan before physically visiting it. They grew up consuming stories, characters, and styles that convey these aesthetics and sensitivities, emotional values, creativity. So, you know, you've got a form of a collective romanticization going on. The American dream is a form of romanticization as well. There's no American dream. What do you think? I feel like it could be the American dream. So Japan is perceived as this visually harmonious, different, attractive, special, and culturally rich place, which every place else is too. Not like Japan. That's soft power. When a picture is labeled Japanese, it's not judged for what's in it, but for what it symbolically represents. Which is why I've decided I'm gonna sit here and make a video about this. This is why we're here, okay, overanalyzing. But this isn't unique to Japan, okay? This is true for other places as well, depending what you're comparing them to. Take a look at this lovely narrow street. Where do you think this is? Naples, Italy. Yep. You know, I've seen it there before. Walk down those streets. It's got that Mediterranean vibe. Looks cute, feels touristy right now, right? They've probably got an Airbnb somewhere up here, for sure. Nice. This is actually Alexandria, Egypt. Did your perception change? If you said no, great. But if your perception did change, it might be because you have predisposed bias. This could be a street anywhere. It could be Athens, you know? So I was thinking, yeah, the Japan effect on TikTok may just seem like a harmless visual game. Just people labeling Japan on there and having a quick laugh in the comments like,
oh my god, I can't believe that works! I can't believe that worked on me!
Deep down, it does reveal a mechanism of unconscious prejudice. No, come on. Yeah, a little bit, you know? When the same image is rejected when associated with one country, but then admired when associated with another, like with Japan. Or Naples, Italy. Obviously, there seems to be some kind of invisible hierarchy of places. Some countries are automatically perceived as beautiful. You're lucky if you're from one of those countries. Others as ordinary, and others even as unpleasant. And sometimes that reputation is just unfair. It's unfair. What did you do to get this reputation? Nothing. Maybe circumstances put you in that kind of... It's just ridiculous, honestly, but whatever. If you live in a place that's less idolized by Western media, I mean Western media as in mainstream media and social media, by the way. Like in the Japan effect trend, there's pictures that show, you know, their place and then Japan. And in those less idealized places, the comments are always mocking. I don't know. You know, what this shows is that the effect doesn't only romanticize Japan, but it also devalues other regions in the world and reinforces these stereotypes and prejudices. It's not that Japan is beautiful, which in many ways, of course, it is, but the collective mind has decided that Japan symbolizes beauty, order, aesthetic, and other places symbolize mediocrity or chaos or filth even, and that's just not very fair. Especially when it's not something that you control. It's like being the son of a very controversial parent. I don't know. Well, what are your thoughts? Like, I'm interested to hear, you know, your... You know, if you don't have thoughts, we'll just have to throw you in the fire, really. For those comments that ask, why does this work? Well, it's because you're not objectively looking at things, you're subjectively looking at them. In no place in this picture do you have any metric of safety, any metric of cleanliness. You don't have an objective take, you have a subjective take. So that is in a way, I don't know, should I say prejudice or perhaps bias that you unconsciously have? But this phenomena is not new. The Mona Lisa. Leonardo da Vinci paints a woman. For centuries, nobody cared. People walked past that thing and thought, okay, a woman. It was definitely not the iconic painting that it is today. Until one day in 1911, it was stolen. A robbery. A heist. It was stolen from the Louvre Museum. The theft generates massive media coverage. 1911, there wasn't even mass media then, the way there is today. Crowds flocked to the museum the same way they do today, not to see other works, but to look at that empty space where the Mona Lisa once hung. When the Mona Lisa was recovered, it returned an icon, a global icon. The painting was exactly the same. The only thing that changed was the story surrounding it. Now people do not just walk past it. No. On the contrary, Mona Lisa fans decry brief encounter with their idol in Paris. They were complaining for being moved on in seconds after spending hours in queue. That's crazy, man. Society's so interesting, right? Enter society is so Bridgerton. Are you from society? What does it mean to be in and out of society? It's crazy. Whatever. Have you seen the new season of Bridgerton? Yeah, I'm just waiting for the next episode. Anyway, how about Vincent? Are you familiar with Vincent? Vince? No? Van Gogh, y'all. Vincent van Gogh. During his lifetime, nobody cared for Vince. Van Gogh was mid. Not just mid, but also whack. He sold only one painting his entire lifetime, this man. One! Right now, if you started doing art, you'd sell more. You're no Van Gogh. I'm kidding. I'm sure you're better. I'm sure you're even better than my man Vince. You and him have a lot in common. You're also whack. I'm kidding. Thank God I don't do stand-up. I would be like Van Gogh in his lifetime. Mid. But after his death, this narrative changed. He was reinterpreted as a misunderstood genius, a visionary ahead of his time. What happened? Did the man resurrect and repaint his paintings? Did he come back from the dead to fix the paint? No, they're the same. The brush strokes are the same. What changed was the cultural framing through which they were viewed. So, beyond the visual phenomena, this Japan effect does leave a powerful reflection. While reality may not change, the way it is viewed does. And when an experience is reframed, it acquires new meanings. This is something we all do in our daily lives. Did you ever try to live in your own city as a tourist for one day? Maybe trying to appreciate what you previously took for granted? This is it. Treat your home as if it were an Airbnb. So it's not about Japan. It's about the human ability to romanticize the mundane when your perspective changes. And one of the most concerning aspects of the Japan effect, which you can see in the comments, is how easy it is to accept bias as something natural. Which it is. Whoa! You're not making sense, boy. So is bias bad or is it good? Bias is inevitable. That's what I think. But it's important to recognize it. Your brain loves shortcuts, patterns, but it is important to recognize it and to flag it when you can. Most people in those comments, they do recognize feeling an automatic preference for Japan, but they don't question it without questioning it.
They didn't make a 20-minute YouTube video.
I'm kidding. That was such a pick-me thing to say. No, but like, I mean, you know, I did, like, when I saw the first TikTok, I did think, curious, isn't it? But there are a lot of comments that actually did realize, you know, it's incredible how real this is. I've realized my own bias toward Japan. It shows awareness. But I couldn't help but wonder a little bit further than just countries. Some nationalities are associated with progress, cleanliness, and order, while others are associated with poverty or chaos or even backwardness. And these are socially constructed associations that are then produced and somehow passed generation after generation. I don't know, but I do know that the Japan effect does not create prejudice. It simply makes it visible. Spain, for instance, tardiness, always late. Germany, punctuality, on time. And then I saw this TikTok of a guy. Apparently, German trains are always late.
The trains are garbage. My train should have left an hour and a half ago. They delayed it, then they canceled it. I went for the next one, they delayed it and canceled it again. Crazy. I never would have thought. I'd say Germany is a very rigid country with very strict rules and everything runs on time, but no. And whoever lives here knows it and can put it in the comments. So be careful if you come, because it is really not reliable at all.
I am in Germany, and here everything is supposed to be super punctual. It is 1:18 and we're waiting for this bus that passes at 1:19. Let's see if the 608 actually passes at 1:19. It is already 1:19 and I am a bit disappointed.
I don't know how true that is, but it made me stop and think. This guy was Spanish. It was saying the trains in Spain are never late. They're almost always on time. In Germany, they're late. They're always late. But that doesn't fit the social construct.
Something's wrong.
You know, that's just a silly example that I'm trying to give you. But this is applicable on, well, across the board, really. But the bias, even if it's positive, is still subjective. It's not an objective truth, it's bias. And a lot of people fail to recognize the reliability of their conclusions that they had based on those biases. The Japan effect does not create those biases, all right? It just makes them visible. And it shows how invisible some other cultures are, you know, in the global eye, I guess. This systemic undervaluing of some places around the world. Yes, Japan is beautiful. It's so orderly. It's so clean. It's so many wonderful things. Those places that you saw Japan better than, they're really nice places too. Nowhere has everything, but everywhere has something, okay? I've personally felt this to be true. It's a bit unfair. There's this unfair narrative that certain cultures are just more worthy of admiration than others. These associations don't arise from individual experiences, not from your personal experiences, more from collective narratives, all right, that were built over time through media, through cinema, through colonial history, through social media, that kind of stuff. The Japan effect makes it clear that if perception changes when a simple word is attached to a photo, then it also changes when that word is attached to a person. You know, the person isn't being judged themselves. You may not be somebody that's prejudiced, or you may not consider yourself a bigot, which obviously, like, you wouldn't be. That word being associated to that person in the same way it does with a place has you jump to certain conclusions. And still that word and the facts that you've seen it do to a place could happen to a person. What's being judged is not the person themselves, but the cultural imagery that they represent. And that's not fair. You ever met somebody that lied to you about where they were from? Maybe they did that for a reason. Regardless, you know, we can't have a conversation about the Japan effect and not talk about reputation. Reputation itself is definitely an interesting filter in this discourse. When you have something to say, chances are people will agree with you. Many might disagree with you, but we're not going to take what you say at face value. You know, we're going to think about it. When a famous person says the exact same thing that you said, exact same thing, we take it at face value. We assume what has been said is good, accurate, valuable stuff. The prior prestige of the person presenting the information acts very much like the label Japan on a picture. If an actor decides to start singing, it may be perceived as good singing, compared to if your neighbor decides to do it. At very least, your neighbor will be judged more harshly. Your content may be similar. So reputation does, I think, act as a mental filler. The public is sort of predisposed to think positively, value positively, without thinking. It happens in the family. If there's somebody in your family that's normally, I don't know, the smart one. Oh, this is the smart one, okay? Even if you who are not the smart one, unless you're the smart one. You're the smart one? I don't know why I assumed you weren't this. I'm just kidding. But let's just say, all right, in a family, there's always a smart one. There's, you know, oh, this one's the successful one. Maybe not always, but there may be. They say something, it's one thing. You say it, the same thing. Shut up, let them speak. Minimized question. So perhaps the bias is not only cultural. Perhaps it is not only media driven. Perhaps it is deeply human. Whoa. Perhaps social labels, such as successful, troublesome. This one's intelligent, this one's irresponsible. Perhaps those social labels function the same way as the geographic labels of the Japan effect. Once assigned, you might have done one irresponsible thing before, and now it defines all future perception. It conditions all future perceptions, and it influences how each person is then valued, listened to, judged. Listen, I told you we were going to overanalyze. My heart is like a singing bird. Sorry, I know this is an inside joke. By the way, my heart is like a singing bird from back when I was in school, and we had to analyze this poem, and everybody was like, it's not that deep. This poem is not that deep. But yeah. Now you know. But anyway, what I want you to walk away from this video thinking about is the powerful message behind the Japan effect on TikTok. Many of the things that you value or disdain do not depend on objective reality, but on the cultural lens through which you view them, you observe them. The streets do not change. It's the same street, it's the same patch of grass, it's the same poles with electricity running through them. What changes is the story told about them. It kind of does invite, it does invite some kind of deep reflection. You know, bruh? Like how often we judge places, people, even experiences based on these preconceived ideas. How often we dismiss something for seeming ordinary. And how often we idolize something based solely on its label. Whether it be a luxury brand, a person behind the thing, a great artist, or a nationality. Japan effect is a mirror of the collective mind. If a simple label can completely change your perception of an image, how many daily decisions are influenced by invisible labels? Invisible labels like nationality, social class, appearance, even brand, reputation. Judgments are made without really knowing. Value is assigned without experiencing, and rejection happens without understanding. And what the Japan effect shows is that these reactions are automatic. They are not rational. This Japan effect isn't even about Japan, you guys. It's about how the human mind functions within a society so saturated with narratives and cultural symbols and images. It's not all bad. Okay, the Japan effect also offers a positive lesson. There is a possibility of reframing reality to find value in the everyday, in the ordinary. If an ordinary image, like this street, can appear more beautiful simply by changing your perspective with a simple label, perhaps many things in your daily life can be appreciated in a different way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all in your head, really. What are your thoughts on all this?
It's just a TikTok trend.
Are those really your thoughts?
Burn it!
The point is, in the end, the world didn't change when the context changed. The one who changes is the person observing. Understanding this doesn't only help you make better sense of social media and what you're seeing online. It's also a way to question the way you view other cultures, countries, or people. Japan effect trend is actually an opportunity to help you become more open-minded, more of a critical thinker, because behind every image, every place, every person is a reality far more complex and valuable than any label could ever convey. That's it. Bro, that was crazy. That was crazy. Did you hear that? I hope you did. Ooh, I don't know who thought sitting down is going to be a good idea on the floor. But that was pretty much it, guys. What are your thoughts? Share them down in the comments below. Do you have a different opinion on this? Do you have more to add on this? Do you think Mona Lisa, Van Gogh, and t-shirt brands were relevant? I think they are, because they all fall under the same concept of contextual framing. Okay, maybe not bias and prejudice, but contextual framing, they do. So, what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below, guys. Do share. I'm curious to hear. Do tell. Okay? Now I'm going to go.